Hi people, I'm sitting here with Stefania Dagila from Buffer State Tarmak. You're promoter, manager of these bands. Can you tell something about it that people precisely know what you do for these bands?
Yes. Thank you, Jan. Thanks for the opportunity that you're giving us to speak through your channel. So for Buffer State, I began honestly for being promoter for Buffer State. So I'm trying to create a page for Facebook and Instagram and promote the band concerts, events, and other like happenings that the band takes place to, participates to. So for Buffer States, I can't say much. You have just heard the concert. They're like fuzzy, groovy, grungy, stoner metal band with a lot of influences from bands like we know from the 90s, like Tool, Alice in Chains, Opeth, Cadaver, a lot of progressive metal and stoner bands. Um, their style of music really influences me and makes me love being with them and being promoting their music. I do love Tool. It's a band that influenced me through since my childhood, since I was a teenager, and really the melodies, the mesmerizing melodies, the groovy bass riffs, and the really up tempo, off the beat drum tracks are make me love their music. So I'm really into that. Maybe you don't get it because you don't know all the story behind it, but it's like Tool. Have you ever listened to Tool? You have to listen to Tool. If you listen to first Tool album, like Lateralus, you have to listen to it like you have to listen. No, sorry, but you have to. Everyone, every metalhead, Jan knows that you have to listen to it, man. Really, 50 times before you decide if you like it or not. If you do like it, think about Buffer State, because it's not music you listen once. It's not a music you listen once and then you will really remember what they played to. It's really complex. It's polyrhythmic. It's really offbeat. So you really have to get into that, into the rhythm, feel the groove, man. Now, what can I say for Tarmac? Tarmac is a new band. I most I mostly have to give the light to Sandra. He's like a person with so much music influencing his life. He works on music like a lot of days, every day, a lot of hours, and he is the inspirator and the creator of the band Tarmac. He wrote most of the songs, like he created all the melodies of the songs, and it began honestly to bring some kind of comedy. It began like a Mongolian metal singing band, but they decided Mongolian singing is a bit too difficult for them, so they said let's make an instrumental metal trio. So there are just three of them now: a drummer, a bass player, and a guitar player. That they experiment with all the keyboards, all the guitar, the pedals, and all the music potential in there. So they're pretty good. You have to. They're actually releasing their first album pretty soon. It's demo. They say it's demo. So they have to say a few more words about that. For me, it's the first experience listening to actually their music. There are only very few, 1 year only they exist, so they have to say more about their music. Please, I will give you Sander, explain the songs a bit.
What do I have to say? I didn't hear.
The songs that they are the new album you release.
So yeah, so we've recorded an EP. It's gonna be 4 songs long. It's gonna be instrumental. It's a bit of post rock, a bit of post metal. What can I say about it? It's just yeah. It's what comes out when we get in a room together, us three, and it feels like the natural thing to do. It's gonna come out in September, and there's heavy stuff in there. There's melodic stuff in there. Whatever makes a song feels like a story, like a coherent story from start to end. Um, yeah, it's hard to say to say more at this stage.
I come back to your adorance of Tool because some band who played 2 years ago in Ghent, they called Bertie's Baby from UK. They played hell of a cover, but the song escapes me. I'm gonna tell you as soon as possible. I'm gonna write it in the description of this video. And they did the Tool cover just with all original instruments, but no guitar, just a violin instead of a guitar, and it's really awesome. You have to check this. It's really awesome. Now I go back to you. So about you, you learning classical guitar and also bass guitar. Can you tell something to the people on my channel a bit about it, this?
It's a very good point you made. I have no clue of this band making with classical music, making Tool songs, but I must tell you, Jan, that I was influenced totally from Tool since I was a teenager. Like a little girl, my brother got me into the Tool world. So the first album I ever listened to was Enema. At the same time, I was listening to Iron Maiden and Iced Earth. So I got into the metal world in general, Megadeth and Metallica as well. But like Tool really got into me. Their songs were like straightforward, rock and roll, but at the same time very powerful. The vibe of the songs was so up tempo that made me believe in a new world, in a rebirth of our own world, with all the problems, all the capitalism, all the difficulties, all the poorness, all the sickness, and we could just regenerate from these songs. Like when I listen to Enema and listen to these albums, it's just something new, a new baby getting born in the new world of metal, you know. So certainly, as a teenager, this listening, this new music made me think. I love this. I want to make something like that. So I started experimenting with bass when I was 19. I already played a lot of blues and jazz and classical piano when I was a baby, a kid. So I started playing a lot of bands in Greece, like funky rock bands or classic metal bands. Until I was 22, I played in 3 different bands. We made a ton of concerts, very beautiful lives. But the problem is, I always wanted to write my own music. It was very powerful, very beautiful music, but I always want to express my own feelings, and it was not through that. I could play very beautiful solos in keyboards, like Black Sabbath, and we did play No More Tears. I can never forget this fantastic solo in keyboards from No More Tears. Like, it's amazing, so beautiful, it's so honest, you know. But No More Tears. And Mr. Crowley as well. And Mr. Crowley, we also played Mr. Crowley, like it's like amazing. But then I really want to write something for myself, and I had this potential. I was an amazing music writer or music player or composer, but I had this in my mind. So the moment came when I met Geert in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and we decided to write some music together. An apart project. So we wrote some music together, and we decided then later on, after the formation of Bufferstate and Tarmac, it was later on that we formed Black Tree Jungle, completely different story, very rock and roll, very Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath is. Yeah. So we just have to see how this band goes. I don't know. We have a lot of inspiration from Black Sabbath and really straightforward rock and roll thing. I love melody in the songs. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt you. I saw Ozzy Osbourne in '88, and this, yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. And I also saw Black Sabbath in '96, and Ozzy was still alive then. He was still alive then.
So I saw, for the first time, I saw Ozzy Osbourne in Greece, and he was playing with a scheme, a composition of people, also with Gus Z, with a Greek guitar player. So no more with Jack Wild, but with Gus Z, and it was very beautiful. For the first time seeing him like this, I knew all the songs, Crazy Train, I mean, No More Tears. Everyone knows the songs, right? So it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I love Ozzy. I love all the music he makes. It comes from the soul and the heart. I don't care about the singing part. Dio must be. I saw him with Heaven and Hell. He's amazing. I saw him just before, right before he died, but Ozzy is something fucking else. It just goes out of the fucking ordinary, throws water to us, so us his other parts. Like, it's fucking amazing. So, yeah, I think for me, Black Sabbath influenced all this new scene you see now, Jan, all the metal, and Tool in another way influenced a little bit the post metal for me, the bass line being in the front, tonized, being the main thing of the song, because until then we knew metal. Metal is like guitars, right? Like Iron Maiden, guitars, but Tool put the bass as the first instrument. Listen to 46 and 2, listen to Schism, man. Please listen to that. Like, bass is like the number one instrument in the
But
song.
also listen to Tarmac and Buffer State.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to listen to that as well. You have to listen to Tarmac because
What is the question? I'm sorry, I forgot what the question was.
complexity, for music complexity and composition.
Tarmac is great.
Like, it really reminds me actually the new two album. Really, the new two album. I might be I don't know how you say it, a heretic, but the new two album reminds me a lot of Tarmac. You might laugh with this. I understand it because Tool is so famous, but listen to the songs, and some songs are very musically based. The composition is complex music, polyrhythmic, off-tempo, drum beats, grooves, and guitars that take you to another level, to another universe. So I'm listening to this, and I'm listening to Tarmac. They're just about to release their first album right now, ever. So it's just under mastering and mixing. You have to listen to the songs. They're so beautiful. For me, it speaks to my heart, my soul. I think it's very similar to Tool. Give it a listen. Tell us what you think. I cannot say much more than this. Thank you.
And meanwhile you were talking, my memory came back. The song the English band was covering was Sober. Sober. So I'm gonna send you the link because I did a official live video for them. Now my last question to you, a question I always ask to everybody on my YouTube channel. Suppose you're on a desert island, you can only listen to 3 vinyls or 3 CDs. You don't have internet, you don't have smartphones. Which albums would you listen to?
Well, to be honest with you, it's so difficult question for me, for Steph. Well, the first one that comes in my mind would be Anima from Tool. I love Anima, the whole concept of the album. It's written for a comedian, and the music is so inspired. I cannot say anything for this, like a poetry and theater written for music ears. Like nothing can, for me, nothing can suppress this music, can pass this level of music. But then I would also definitely love to listen to Dark Saga from Iced Earth. I love Iced Earth. I love Spawn. They wrote the whole album for Spawn. Very few people I know love Spawn. I grew up with Spawn. I love the love story. Voila. I love the love story of Spawn. He came to Earth. So Spawn came to Earth because he wanted a second chance in his life. He wanted to see his wife again, his love. But for his love, he sold his soul. So be very careful, people. Don't sell your soul for anyone, because you will fucking regret it. First of all, I love it to hear it for the rest of my fucking life, Dark Saga. Then the third album, I would be very problematized. I love Motorhead, I love Black Sabbath, I love Orange Goblin. They're not so famous, but so between the three of them, I think they're very close to each other for me. Very close. Motorhead, classic rock and roll. Okay, to the roots, almost punk rock and roll. Then you have Black Sabbath, they identified the whole meaning of fucking metal and rock and roll. And then you have Orange Goblin, the power, the whole feeling of nowadays. So what would I choose? I don't know. Probably I would choose Black Sabbath, Paranoid. It really saved the future of rock and roll. So something like that, something of the three: Motorhead, Orange Goblin, Black Sabbath. Think about that, all of you. What would you choose? What would you love to listen to? They're all amazing. Just think about it.
Thank you for this short interview. So it's as short as the Buffer State interview. It means also nearly 17 minutes. So we're gonna put it together as one chapter, but in two parts on Metal to Infinity. So thank you guys. Give some horns to the people, and bye bye.